and good afternoon. My name is Josh Buckhalter, and I will be doing a case conceptualization on Marge and Homer Simpson using the Gottman method for couples therapy. The Gottman method was created by husband and wife duo Dr. John Gottman and Dr. Julie Schwartz Gottman in the 1970s, and it's used to primarily address communication issues within a relationship, whether that's lack of intimacy, lack of respect, lack of affection, constant conflict and bickering, a noted breach of trust, or overall stagnation and emotional distance within a relationship. So for Marge and Homer Simpson, Marge and Homer are both cisgender, heterosexual Caucasians that live in a rather lower middle-class socioeconomic background and status. Homer's pronouns are he, him, his. Marge's pronouns are she, her, hers. They are coming to couples therapy because of an increase in arguments and fighting and increased levels of tension and distance within the relationship. They're really hoping to achieve goals of increased intimacy and trust, healthier levels of both interdependence and independence, and better acknowledgement and respect for each other's feelings and needs. From initial observations from the perspective of the therapist, Homer is quite unhappy with his job. He isn't really well respected by his bosses and his managers, and is also a pretty heavy alcoholic. He consumes multiple drinks per day, and he spends most of his free time either at a local bar or watching TV. He comes to each session, however, clean and dressed casually with a white shirt, blue jeans. I would say he has relatively below average intelligence, but maintains consistent eye contact for someone in therapy. Marge is also unhappy with her role of stay-at-home wife. She feels unfulfilled and underappreciated and spends most of her time cleaning, running errands, cooking meals, and looking after their 3 children. She comes to each session clean and dressed casually as well, in a green dress and an orange beaded necklace. She has average to above average intelligence, but struggles to maintain direct eye contact with the therapist. So as far as the history of the problem, difficulties within the relationship have been present for many years. The roles of working father and stay-at-home mother have been seemingly set in stone, with the unhappiness each partner feels bubbling up into the relationship. Homer's drinking habits have left Marge feeling unheard, invisible, and ignored, and underappreciated. Homer feels that Marge doesn't truly see, understand, and appreciate how hard he works every day during the week to support the family financially. In terms of family and social functioning, Homer has a strained and relatively distant relationship to his father. His father was very stern and stoic and emotionless when Homer was a child, and his mother has not been in the picture for many years. He also has no siblings, so he doesn't have anyone else to reach out to from family. Marge's relationships to her parents aren't currently known. It's a note in the future that the therapist wants to inquire about. She does have 2 twin sisters whom she is very close to, but it's well known that the 2 of them and Homer do not get along. The sisters don't really view Homer as a suitable partner for Marge. They never have, and at times it seems like they never will. In terms of additional family functioning, Homer often gets lost in his anger and occasionally physically and emotionally abuses his son, while also showing favoritism and preferential treatment to his daughter, Lisa. Marge appears to be the glue that really holds the family together, working hard to avoid or cease any sibling or father-son conflict. Now, in terms of strengths and resources, Marge and Homer are both very committed to the family and raising their 3 kids to the best of their abilities. Despite the many different scenarios that arise, the family and the couple, the parents, seem to always come first. There is no doubt that love exists between the couple as well as the family, although it's often expressed in maybe unorthodox or unconventional ways. Now, despite the relationship between Homer and his father being maybe perhaps strained or a little distant, he is still very much in the picture, and they do have him in addition to Marge's sisters, friends, and neighbors to rely on when they need help and assistance. Also worth noting is that Lisa is far smarter and more self-sufficient than any other kid her age, which is likely translating to a less need on Marge and Homer's part to stress and worry and burn themselves out in parenting. So that's an additional resource and strength there. So from the perspective of the Gottman method, the couple is experiencing distress and tension because they really aren't working as a single cohesive unit to support the relationship and take care of the entire family. The constant conflict has led to a lack of intimacy, trust, and respect between Homer and Marge. One support pillar of that sound relationship house theory, which is a cornerstone of the Gottman method, is trust, and it's not as present as it needs to be, which then further skews the other 7 floors needed to construct and navigate a healthy and happy relationship. Those other 7 floors are building love maps, sharing fondness and admiration, turning towards each other instead of away from each other, having a positive perspective, learning to manage conflict in a healthy way, making life dreams come true for each other, and creating a shared meaning system. Trust being one of the 2 load-bearing walls and commitment being the other. Those are the 9 components of the sound relationship house theory. Apologies for the delay. So, as I said, as trust is not as present as it needs to be, that makes it more difficult to navigate the 7 floors of the relationship house theory. 2 of the 4 horsemen are also quite present, stonewalling, disengaging from difficult conversations or just conversation in general, as Homer's frequently disengages from conversations and arguments, whether it's in the morning when he goes off to work or when it's after work and he decides to go to that local bar or to sit down in front of TV to zone out. Both Marge and Homer also experience a good amount of defensiveness because they really don't feel like the other truly understands how hard they are working to provide for each other and their children. And it also most certainly seems like that Gottman ratio of 5 positive experiences to every 1 negative experience isn't really being met either. They're both struggling to recognize that a lot of their issues are actually perpetual problems that can't be fixed but need to be navigated together as a couple. So in terms of interventions, it's really all around the sound relationship house theory. During our sessions together, the therapist and the couple first explored what emotions and feelings were experienced by each partner. The therapist maintained a very neutral environment, allowing both Homer and Marge to feel heard and validated without being judged. Both perspectives were heard and weighed equally, helping the couple to realize that they have not been working together as a team to identify and honor each other's individual needs. Within the orientation of the 2 supporting walls of the relationship house theory, commitment and trust, there's been a lot of progress. There's, as I said earlier, there is a lot of commitment. They are committed to each other. They're committed to the family. So that pillar is very strong within the house theory, and the trust has been developing. They've embarked on a new level of intimacy by putting trust in the therapist and the work in therapy involved in the Gottman method. Homer and Marge have been able to establish a renewed trust in each other. Through building and exploring each other's love maps and life goals and dreams, as well as constructing a wholly new shared meaning system based on fondness and admiration, they've been able to really show a lot of improvement within their relationship. They've really also begun to learn how to turn towards each other instead of away, which instills a new sense of teamwork and togetherness. And it is through this work in the sound relationship house theory of the Gottman method that Homer and Marge have been able to experience much better daily life in their relationship and in their family. Thank you so much for your time.